Hi, Lucia and Pauline. We are about to start our Work Package 8 webinar. Our Work Package 8 is Embedding and Driving Change, and now we are going to talk a little bit about it. The title of our webinar is Dietitians, How to Make a Difference from UA Projects to Daily Life. And it is exactly what we are trying to talk a little bit about today. So, as an overview, we are going to talk about some words that perhaps you are not so familiar with. I think exploitation is a more easy one, but valorization and some kind of words that we are not so used to it. We are going to talk about how to develop a strategy for this and to make a plan and to establish and engage the stakeholders. Also, give you some strategies and accomplish the transfer of the results. That's our main object, is that the results are embedding by the other ones. So let's start about it. With first thing, let's see what we meant with these words. Valorization. Valorization is dissemination and exploitation the project's outcomes. I think dissemination, you are more familiar with these words because it's like some spread of the news. It's disseminated between the other ones. Exploitation, according to UA project managers, is more mainstreaming and multiplication. Mainstreaming is the planned, and planned is very important to focus on this word because it's not something that happens by because it happens. It's something that is planned to be like that. Transferring the successful of these results programs and initiatives to the decision makers and the persons who make the laws at regional, national, or even European systems. Multiplication is the planned process of convincing individual end users to adopt or apply the results of programs and initiatives. This is a definition by Eve, and more ahead we are talking about a little bit about Eve. I'd like to give an example and imagine. You can see I'm moving my hands because I always talk a little bit with my hands, but I think this imagine uh, gives a little bit more of what I think it's mainstreaming. For you to mainstream, imagine you have a lake and you drop a stone into that lake, and then you have all those wings, yeah, and then those wings go to the side, and they make changes. The rocks, they are getting used, they are getting modified. So I think that is mainstreaming. Is when you do something in a little piece in the middle of the lake, and then all of the area surrounding the lake is changing. And I think that's what is mainstreaming. And I think it's important for us to do when in our daily life we do some things, and in the project, mainly in this project, but in all projects we are involved in our lives. So, do you think it's diet making the difference? It's in your daily life you are making the difference? Are you going to make some changes? Do your patients make food changes in order to achieve the better health results? Do your students use or reflect on the information you teach? And in the project, is diet making change? If it's the deliverables, well, deliverables is a very hard word, but it's the word that the project used. Sometimes I'm going to say that, but it's mainly outcomes. Are we going to use these outcomes, or just we had a lot of work and they are going to sit in the very nice table lying there? No, we have to use it, and we have to guarantee that these deliverable or outcomes are used. But to assure that, from the first thing, we have to make a plan to those changes. It's not something that happen randomly. You have to plan it. And then what we have done from the beginning of the project, from the start, we have to develop a plan. But this plan should be a flexible tool, because at the beginning we see, okay, let's start doing that. But then we have to have some information that correct us into that plan just for our purpose. at the end be achieved. You have to know what you want to change, and that are the aims of diets. Yeah, and then you have to establish and engage stakeholders, accomplish the transfers of results, and assure the sustainability of our results. Stakeholders are all the parts who can be affected or will be affected, because this will take some time. As you see, the rocks in the end of the lake take some time to get changed. So it will be affected with your deliverables or outcomes or aims. Yeah. So um, we're going to talk a little bit about these steps. Establish and engage stakeholders. Well, do you think this is easy to do? It's not. Paul Nutt has made some research on this, and it makes an analysis of the very big decisions that were very important, and he analyzed for the politician and environment and a lot of subjects. And analyzing these decisions, he saw that half of them failed. Why? They are so important to be achieved. Because some of the reasons he appointed, they were not implemented, they are only partially implemented, or they produce poor results, not results they were expecting. This is largely because decision makers fail to attend the interest and information held by stakeholders. Yes, the stakeholders are all the persons who are involved in this now and could be involved in it after. So you have to identify the potential stakeholders. When you know what to change, identify every stakeholders you can that could be affected by your changes. Prioritize these lists. Divide it, because some of them are from now, some of them are from later, and you have to decide it. Involve, consider the motivation of them, because you can imagine your client. Imagine this on a daily basis. Imagine your client is not interested in wasting weight or something like that. So you have to understand the motivations he has, understand it, and consider it in your plan. Prioritize the means of dissemination of your outcomes, because you have to decide it. Do I want to spread those changes from this project, those deliverables, those outcomes? How? By doing webinars or by doing some conference, or I don't know, create a journal or Facebook, something. You have to decide it from the beginning, how to disseminate and how to do this. You have to select. I can have a Facebook for the students, and I can have this webinar for some persons who are already working on the field. So it could be different, yeah, or it could be for both. And especially review the strategy, monitorize and review it, because it's not going to be the same plan that you have from the beginning. How do you identify the potential stakeholders? How do we do this on diets too? Well, we have to see the aims and objectives of diets, the kind of issues that the project can resolve, and who could benefit of these project deliverables. And how do we have to communicate, and when it was the appropriate time to do it? Because if I, at the beginning of the project, come with an e-journal, perhaps we don't have any submissions that we had at the middle of the project, when most of the persons know about it and has more interested on it. And then we can adapt the themes of each journal. It's one of our jobs, is analyzing the deliverables from the other work package and see how they are received from how stakeholders receive them. And if they say, oh, this is nice, but I would rather have this topic more deep. So we have to change a little bit. So you have to adapt to the stakeholders' needs. In your daily life, you also do this. What are the aims and objectives of your intervention? What kind of issues you propose to resolve? Who are your potential users or benefits of your interventions? It's the same thing. Why do you need to communicate with, and how is the best way to do it? And when is appropriate time to do it? So, see, you use these in your daily life. You have to prioritize the list of stakeholders. They are not a static thing. They change. They have different needs according to the economy. See, we have to change a lot of it because of the economy. It's changing. So if politicians change, we have to adapt to those needs also. And we have to be always, this is a continuous process. Ensure they are involved, because you can do a lot of great job, but if your patient, for instance, or your client is not interested in what you are done, well, it doesn't matter what you do. That work doesn't have any profit. You have to see if they are keep interested in what you are doing. So what we have done, we have scheduled regular stakeholders meeting. We on diet, we had an annual conference, and on that conference, I know some of them see that, oh, another questionnaire to fulfill, but it's the only way we can really assess if you are satisfied with what we are done, yeah, and if our products, our outcomes are meeting your expectations. So we have done this, and this is a small example on how do we assess the deliverables are transferred to the stakeholders, and if that deliverables are being an interesting thing to them and they intend to use them. See, on the key contact survey in 2011, we have 52% that say they like the activities, and then we ask in 2012 if they have altering some things, and they have used the things we produce. So we keep in track, we monitorize stakeholders' involvement. How do we review the students? For instance, I give you an example. We want to monitor stakeholders' involvement for students. Yeah, so we create a Facebook and other network accounts. We understand the affiliations of the participants. We develop and adapt the contents and expectations and the needs to those needs. We create an e-journal, and then we analyze it, the impact of that e-journal into the students and into the, of course, the teachers and the professionals, but mainly into the students. And with those review, we analyze it, we give them to the work package that is organizing the journal, and then they will adapt to be more of useful for the students. So we keep them involved. We had one thing, and I'm going to do the link between our daily life and our project. We had a user advisor group. Yeah, what's that? This user advisor group, it's a group of persons who are not so deep on the project, that sometimes you are so deep that you cannot see from the outside. You cannot see exactly. You are so involved, you understand everything because you are in. And the image you give to outside sometimes is not what you think it is. So you need to have some outside interesting in the project that say what you think you are doing very, very clear. It's not so clear for persons who are outside. I know some of you and a lot of you think that our website is not so friendly. This user advisor group will say to us how we can change it to be more friendly for the persons who are not so used to work on it. So they make suggestions, they assure questions relevant to stakeholders are taken into account, and advise us how to better disseminate and exploit. In our daily life, you also have a user advisor group. Because when you have some problem with some patient or some clients or some students, you talk with your partners, you talk with your colleagues, and that's a user advisor group. It's something that was not really involved in that and can add some outside orientations for you to understand the better the situation and to understand what stakeholders or your students or your patients will need for achieve what you want. Yeah. Review a strategy and monitor stakeholders' involvement. Continue. You need to do this, and I know instead of project diets, it's some questionnaires you have to fulfill, but we need it. Otherwise, we can do like in a way, and the needs of you are in another way. So we need to put this together. How can the network support you in your exploitation process? That's a main thing to do. It's not giving you the things you want, but say, and now, what do you need to use them, to apply them? It's giving counseling to a patient. Sorry, I always go to the clinic because I'm a clinical dietitian. So giving you a counsel to a patient, and then he says, yeah, what I'm going to do with this. And you have to say, okay, I say olive oil is better because I'm from Portugal. So olive oil is better than sunflower oil. So you have to use olive oil. And how do I do this? And you have to say, okay, I'm going to help you in using olive oil instead of sunflower oil. So I'm going to make a support on using those outcomes that diet 2 produce. Yeah. Now I have a lot of slides that are very full with information. I'm not going to read all of this. I'm just going to say, because we have collected this from our stakeholders that are involved in this project. And I want just to share a little bit of it, just for you to give you some ideas. And for instance, how do you plan to use and support the use of new novel placements? And this is very important to diversify the placements where the students are. And if you think this is only for NDAs, for HEAs, Higher Education Institutes, and not for NDAs, National Dietetic Associations, you are wrong, because this is for both. If you can see here, some NDAs work in haste to analyze new practical placements so they can use this diversification. And as a work package 8, with the deliverables or the outcomes that work package 1 who was involved in this have done, we have made a, Pauline, can you help me? The name of a flyer, yeah, I remember, a flyer. We have made a small flyer that's on our website, and you can go on this link and download it. And this is a 2 pages flyer, one page, A4 page, and you can, with this, you can promote dietitians in some places that they never think they can be used and be helpful and be glad to have a dietitian help them. So this is the work of work package 1 that my work package have transformed in a flyer that everybody can use. This is, for instance, a promotion of new places for dietitian, for haste to put them in practical placement, and also after that for professionals to work within. How can diets work network support you on this? So these are some ideas that I left here for you to read, but it's not all of them. It's just some ideas that we collect this information and try to improve our support to you. How do A's and NDAs use or pretend to use the advanced competencies to promote their specialists to the stakeholders? Some of examples are here, but for instance, a very simple one: publish the advanced competencies in the website. Have a list of specialists, and every time some journal, TV wants some information on specific subjects, you have the list with all the persons who are with advanced competencies on that subject. So you can easily say, if you want to talk about olive oil, please go to Ana Catarina Moreira. Not me, but it's okay. It's an example. See? So if you want to talk about benefits of fish oil, so go to Pauline Douglas. So you can say this. It's very useful in times of national, but also in times of Europe. Another example is how do you think to improve communication between A's and MBAs and the employers? So, because good communication is the basis of the proper academic and professional development, you have to get a conference, for instance, and ask all of the possible employers, I think like that you say, that come to that conference. Yeah? And then they can see the work of a dietitian. Perhaps they will never think about it. And you can promote the profession between them. In what ways the lifelong learning map is important to your university or to your association? How does suppose to use it? Well, it's important to divulgate the skills of your profession and to increase recognition among employers and the community. So, lifelong learning map, it's important for the students, for the Hayes, because they can see where there is and what is made in teaching in the Europe, and then you can adapt some of them to your needs. Or you can say, okay, you have a good one there. I'm not going to do exactly the same. I'm going to do a different one. See? So it's very important, this map, you can use it. It's deliverable from the diets too. Are you interested in making new use of ITC? Well, I'm a new on this. This is my first webinar, and well, thank you, Michelle, because she was my host on this, but it's done. So with this, I can teach a class, and then my students can see this class many times after. And then, yeah, this is important for dissemination, whatever you want to disseminate. In this case, I want to disseminate the strategic plan we have to exploit and disseminate our outputs of diets too. Is the methodology using or teaching a good thing for you? I would like to give you an example. Some students from 3 different countries in 2 different universities, after Project Diets 2, after the conference, they saw they were making their research, their final research for their thesis on the same subject. So they decided, why should we work separately? We are developing a methodology, the same methodology for us, and then we are going to get together results and much more strong on it. So this is one of the things Diets 2 is done. And I think this is very important. You have this union in the research on UA. How do you engage students? I've talked about it. So we have to adapt the e-journal to themes that the students want to read. So that's very important to assure the continuance of the project. So in your daily life, you also prioritize the list of stakeholders. You have your clients, it could be your patients or your employers or something. You have the media, the society, the employers, the bosses. So in diets, you also assure to you have to assure to stakeholders involvement. So what they need to achieve the results, and then you have to readapt all your strategy, review the strategy. Yeah. Identification, commitment, financial, and visibility. I need some notes here. Commitment. Are you involved with the project? Identification. Do you have a clear view on the results? Financial. Is there enough money for us to get to the end? And visibility. Which are the best way to promote our project? So you have to do all of this. And then you do this in your daily life. Are my patients involved in this? Do they have enough money to accomplish all the meetings they have with me? Are they commitment in making change? And do I make myself visible? They remember me. They know they have to change. They remember this when they go home and do the things. This is sustainability. We want to create special thematic working groups, so we need you. This will enable the experts in each field of UNER to interact and sharing their knowledge. the work in the last conference, we had some workshops about different things. And those people who are interested, for instance, in diabetes, they all get together. And the ones, for instance, in under nutrition, they all get together. And now they know each other, and it's more easier then to talk about it and to promote that subject in Europe. Increase the impact and visibility of you in your daily life. Use innovative approaches to your clients. Share experience and knowledge. Disseminate your work. Involve others. You have to promote yourself as a dietitian. And I want to thank you for this. And you can see all the deliverables that we have made for our outcomes of our working project on Eve. You can go to Eve Projects UA and then see the exploitation of diet too. But also you can see other kinds of exploitation. It's an inspiring website. And I cannot say that don't want to thank you. I know perhaps some of you remember when I put this image on we need you, yeah? Because we need you for the feedback. But now I want to change a little bit and say thank you. Thank you for your feedback. You are amazing on this. So if you have any questions, now I will be available on my knowledge to talk a little bit about it. Just type some things over there, and typing is more difficult because I think this doesn't correct my spelling things, and I'm not a very good writing in English, but it's okay. Thank you, Michelle. And thank you all for being here.